Welcome to our lesson about using constraints. Let's start by creating a sketch. First, I'm going to activate the line tool. And let's just sketch a profile. There's my first line, second line. Notice the tangency symbol appears and a tangent relation is automatically applied for us. Let's create another line. And now we see the vertical relation symbol. Let's create a couple more lines and close the profile. And let's right-click and select Done. Since Inventor didn't exit the line tool automatically, I know that I didn't close the profile here. If I grab and drag this line, I can see the gap a little bit better here. That's how you determine which constraints your sketch needs, by simply grabbing a sketch segment and dragging it. If you're able to move it, then you need some kind of dimension or constraint. Let's click Undo to restore our original sketch. In this case, when I drag the line just a little bit down, the resulting gap allows me to easily add a coincident relation. Let's unselect the segments in the graphic area by clicking outside. And let's click on the coincident relation up on the Constrain panel. Select the 2 points, right-click, and Done. Now if I grab and drag this line, it's clear that I've got a closed profile. Let's place a horizontal constraint on this line. And now let's activate the vertical constraint and place it here. Remember that the vertical constraint was applied on this side automatically. Let me click this line again, placing a second vertical constraint. Inventor doesn't let me do it. It lets me know that the sketch constraint already exists. Let's cancel out of this window. Return to our sketch. And right-click and Done. Now let's drag select these 2 lines and add an equal relation. Let's click on the perpendicular constraint. Select this line and this line. This line and this line. Right-click and Done. Once again, to check where else I need to constrain the sketch, just select and drag the segments. When you're done your dragging, click Undo. As you probably guessed, we need a tangent constraint right about here. Let's click on the tangent constraint, select the arc and the line. As you remember, we already have a tangent constraint on this side that was applied automatically. Let's try to place a second constraint. Inventor warns me the sketch constraint already exists. Let's cancel out of this window. In our status bar, we see that 8 dimensions are still required. To dimension this sketch with constraints, let's use the Fix constraint. And select this point. Notice that these 2 lines turn dark blue. That means they're fully constrained. Let's select this point and the arc. In the status bar, Inventor lets me know that 1 dimension is still required. Right-click and Done. Once again, to see where I need constraints, I'm going to click on any remaining purple segments, like this corner. I'll drag it. We can tell which part of the sketch moves. That's what needs constraining. Let's undo our movements. Apply a Fix constraint. Click this point here. Now the sketch is in dark blue line and fully constrained as indicated in the status bar. One more thing I wanted to go over here. In a previous lesson, we were able to pick up the origin point. Let's create a point at the origin. Select center point from our tree. Project geometry. And let's drop a rectangle here. 2 point. Right-click and Done. Now we can add a coincident constraint between, for example, this corner point and the origin point. To fully constrain the sketch, let's add 1 more coincident constraint. The sketch is fully constrained. Let's finish the sketch. And let's go to Tools, Application Options, Sketch tab. Let's check Auto Project Part Origin on Sketch Create. Apply and close. Now let's right-click on Sketch 1 and select Delete. Right-click on the YZ plane, New Sketch. And as you can see, I'm able to pick up the origin point. Right-click and Done, and this concludes our lesson about using constraints.